All right, guys, promised you another very special guest, and this is the first time we've actually had the opportunity to see while we're doing an interview. Our good friend John Schneider, actor, singer, producer. He's got so many slashes there. It's good to see you, friend.
Well, hey, I'm glad to be here. Yeah, look at this technology. Now we're able to see each other. It's pretty darn cool.
It is.
I'm so excited about Poker Run. Really, you know me well enough to know that in my heart and soul, I'm about 7 years old. And I love Smokey and the Bandit. I love being on the Dukes of Hazzard and driving the General Lee and being the guy that jumped the car. And when we did our first, what we call Southern Horsepower comedy, 3 years ago now, it was called Christmas Cards. And Christmas Cards did great. And it was my wife who said, you know, John, hello, get in a car, get a camera, and drive like a bat out of hell, and people will watch it. So that's what we did, and people did. They watched it. And then dear friend Burt Reynolds passed away, and he and I had spoken for years about why in the world did the whole genre of what we call Southern Horsepower comedy go away? And who was going to bring it back? Well, he said, you know, really the only person with the history and the pedigree who really understands the recipe was me. And what a wonderful compliment that was. Wow. He said that, as did Hal Needham. Both of those gentlemen said that. So when Bert passed away, Alicia and I talked about doing something to honor him, and that kind of morphed into Stand On It, which is a tribute to Smokey and the Bandit, dedicated not only to Burt Reynolds, but also to Hal Needham. And Hal wrote and directed Smokey and the Bandit. Great stunt guy, stunt coordinator. So that movie did incredibly well for us last year. And in our world, we're completely independent. We write the movies, we record the music, we film the movies, we also distribute them ourselves. So we have no aspirations to do all that work and then try to get into business with people that we don't agree with. And believe it or not, that's kind of the model. People dream, they mortgage their house, they get their uncle to invest $25,000, they get their friends to invest money, they make a movie they're proud of, and then they sell it to some company like Netflix, who never gives you another dime, who also is one of the largest distributors of, I'm going to say, trash on the planet. So why would I dream so that eventually some person I don't agree with can take it away? Why would I do that? So Stand On It made so much money that it paid for itself and made it so we could make Poker Run. So once again, we are all in. We're always all in.
Yeah, right? You're always all in everything you do.
Yeah, because there's a line in the movie: if you're not all in, you're out. Kind of like Ricky Bobby: if you ain't first, you're last. And we quote Ricky, we quote Talladega Nights in this movie too.
I caught that.
So this one, only I checked, I think 9 people have seen Poker Run now. It's not out yet. So that means a couple of the members of the cast, a couple of members of the crew have actually seen Poker Run. And every one of them has said, John, it's like I'm in the car there with you. So I think this is going to be so successful that not only will it pay for itself and make it so we can do the next movie, which is called Double or Nothing, but it might actually put a little jingle in our pockets and help us to be able to rebuild after the Hurricane Ida came through a month and a half ago. So I am so excited. It's 2 weeks from today that Poker Run will be available. We do have a group of people, they're called the O1 Lifers and the Bo1 Lifers. They will be getting a code where they will be able to preview it a week before.
Wow. That's
So,
cool.
so it's exciting for me to get the movie out there for them, because I want their input. It's too late for me to change anything, but I'm writing the next one now. So it's just great. I'm 61 years old, and I feel like I'm 8.
That's awesome.
Alicia calls me her forever 4-year-old. And
Take
that's a good title to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than grumpy old man, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of 61-year-old grumpy old men, so I'm glad to see you're not that guy.
Yeah, no, not that way. So I'm very excited. That's what's sitting there on the here. People can see us, right?
Yes, they can.
Here, so here, check just this little bit.
Yeah, I was
Just
watching
like the good old days, you know.
Oh, I
the
was
only
watching
thing missing in this one, I wish when I see that, I wish I had somebody go, maybe in the next one. Maybe in the next one.
I was totally when I was watching, every time I watch the trailer, it takes me back to the Cannonball Run, that
Yep.
kind of stuff. And man, those, like you said before, those were the heydays.
Yeah. People want to be involved in what's going on the screen. They want to feel like they're in the car. They want a hero. And a hero is somebody that looks at danger in life and goes, "Ha! Is that all you got?" And, you know, kind of like, bring it on, bring it on. And I remember so well seeing Smokey and the Bandit for the first time, how I felt when I saw that car, that Trans Am for the first time. My God, I would have given anything in the world to have had that car. Just like 2 years later, people would give anything in the world to have a General Lee. Well, in this world, my car is here. My car is oh, come on, John, where is it? My car is very cool. So my car is that car. It's a triple black, gold pinstripe, gold phoenix rising with a rebel flag in one talon, an American flag in the other talon, and an 01 in its eye. T-top Challenger. They don't make a T-top Challenger, but I have a feeling after this movie they may. I think they may. There was a little buzz around Stan on it with regard to, wow, where'd you get that car? Well, we took a Sawzall to it in the driveway. That's where we got that car. This is another one. So now we have 2. This one was done by some friends, some car fabricators in Oklahoma.
Oh,
that did a much better job on the whole T-top conversion, but they're cut out. They don't exist. So if it's raining, you can't put the T-tops back in because there aren't any. When it's raining, you do this.
you stopped shooting is what you saw.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's a couple of shots in here. You'll see where there's water on the windshield, because we do a combination of green screen and just for convenience sake. And then I'm also in the car. I went out, and nowadays that's so easy. So I went out and had my script on the seat, very much like when we did Dukes of Hazzard. When we first started, before we started doing the rear screen projection stuff, we would just go out. We'd have 2 or 3 cameras on the General Lee, and Tom and I would just go out and drive with our script and do all the dialogue from that episode. So that was a habit that I grew into back in the late 70s and early 80s. So I carried that over to this. So there's a lot of it, like the angles you just saw, is me out there just doing it, which I think is great. It adds an energy to it, and it really does make you feel like you're right in there in the passenger seat with me. So it's very exciting, and nobody's making movies like this.
No,
I don't understand. And when they make a car movie, I mean, obviously the Fast and the Furious franchise has made over $1 billion. It's done really, really well, but it doesn't have the fun.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have you don't want to go out and do what they did. You don't want to go in a C5A and drive a Mustang out the back of it or something, or whatever it was they did. Because they crossed the line into doing such spectacular things that the audience knows they can't be done. So they know they're not watching something that's remotely real. In our movies, everything we do, we do.
Right.
When we have a 1978 Freightliner tractor running around a dirt track, there's a guy driving it and sliding through the corners, you know, turning right to go left and all that stuff. We really do it, and you can tell. So I'm so anxious for people to see this movie. I think that Christmas Cars was a triple. Stand on It was a home run. This one, I think, is going to be a grand slam. I really do. I really, really do.
And of course, John, everybody knows your love of music as well. And I know you've got music tied in with this, and also in the cast. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the cast members you've got that joined in on this project as well.
Oh yeah, we've got Cody McCarver. Cody was with Confederate Railroad for years. Great singer-songwriter. And we also have Keith Burns. Keith Burns was with Trick Pony. He's fantastic. He plays kind of a jerk in the bar. He's a great jerk, a great jerk. But Cody and I wrote some songs for the movie. Keith and I wrote some songs for the movie. Cody, Keith, and I wrote the title song, Poker Run, for the movie. So that was great. We recorded all that in Nashville. We have Mindy Robinson, who was in Christmas Cars as a blonde, and in Stand on It as a redhead. I'm sorry, yeah, as a redhead. And she's in Poker Run. We have Dion Baya, who is on Fox News, and I got to know Dion. Tyrus from the Greg Gutfeld show is in Stand on It, and a little bit, but kind of a spoiler. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but we had COVID scheduling Fox issues, so we went another very interesting way with one of my favorite actors of all time here in Louisiana. His name is Dane Rhodes. Dane was in the first movie I did here called Smothered. Dane was in Inadmissible. Dane was in Anderson Bench. Dane was in Like Son. Dane has been in everything we've done except Christmas Cars. And he's phenomenal. And he didn't know he was going, we didn't know that we were going to have to go a different way until the evening before we were shooting. Wow. So it was, hey, Dane, you want to, what are you doing tomorrow? So we have a great line. It's in the trailer. I say, who the hell are you? And the guy says, he looks down and says, Tyrus couldn't get out of his gig with in New York, so he called me this morning. Go with it. Okay. So, you know, what can you do? But in the independent filmmaking world, you've got to roll with the punches. And I think actually it winds up being far more, this is a way overused word, but far more organic because of it. So now I'm in the process of writing the third one, and that's called Double or Nothing. And my hope for that is to have Dane and to have Tyrus in the same movie at the same time, because all of a sudden he could do it. So we'll start that movie out like, well, you know, who's going to be Papa? Oh, here he is. Here's Dane. Well, wait a minute. No, that's Tyrus. Tyrus, where's Dane? He's in the trunk. So we're going to use what could have been a really unfortunate piece of bad timing. We're going to use it as to our advantage. So that's the plan. That's what we did with Poker Run. So it's great. Who else do we have in there? We've got Marcus Milton. I'm sorry, Marcus Dupree. Marcus Dupree Milton is another friend of mine. Marcus Dupree is in it in the beginning. And how that happened is Marcus and I had just done a movie. We filmed on the Natchez Trace, a period piece And he said, you know, I live in Louisiana. I said, you want to be in a movie? And he said, sure. And I said, okay, I'll call you. And I called him like 2 days later. He showed up on the third day, and he's in the movie as well. There's a wonderful gentleman who is a Black Confederate soldier, whiz. He's an educator. He educates people about the Civil War, and a part of the Civil War that no one really has any idea about. His name is H.K. Edgerton, and H.K. is in this movie as well. And he says in it, you know, we're going to teach a little actual factual history to these youngins. So the movie doesn't get political, but it does go there, because that's an important thing that I want people to just consider and wonder about. Noodle on the fact that there were Black Confederate soldiers for a moment. Noodle on the fact that H.K. Edgerton is probably the only man who will stand to protect a Confederate monument. The last time he did it, he stood there for 40 days.
Wow.
So there's certainly something to it worth educating yourself about. So we put him in there. He's delightful. He came out, was great. So I think that people are really going to love this movie. It's got cars, it's got fantastic music, it's got humor. We have Civil War reenactors in it. I mean, everything. And we even make fun of the elephant in Smokey and the Bandit 2. Because, you know, between you and I and the fence post, Smokey and the Bandit 2 was not great. Not great. But there's a point in it where I say, I'm in my elephant now. And Cody yells out the window and says, just had to go there, didn't you? And I said, I had to figure out some way to get the elephant in here. So we do a little nod to that. Because Dom DeLuise was a dear friend of mine as well. But I think in the next one, we'll at least have somebody go, dun, da, da. But that'll be it. That'll be it.
Awesome. That is cool.
You know, there's a fine line between funny and silly, and I don't believe we cross that line in this movie. There's one spot where Dion is doing something so funny that I'm laughing, kind of like Tim Conway or Harvey Korman on the Carol Burnett show, and I left it in. I left it in there just because I thought, you know, this is just such a natural occurrence. And the audience has to be laughing with what Dion just did anyway. So I left it in. And I'm a big Carol Burnett fan.
Oh, yeah.
And had the great pleasure for a number of years of playing in a poker game with Harvey Korman. So it's great to be able to go back and really pay tribute to dear relationships I've had over these last 40 years. And have such a great time doing it, and get to drive about the coolest car anybody's ever seen.
I was going to say, you look, I mean, it's easy to look like you're having fun when you're enjoying what you're doing.
I just posted something on Facebook. It's a picture from this. And I put on there, I said, it should be illegal to have this much fun. I said, oh, that's right, it is. So that's on my Facebook in the T-Top Challenger. And, you know, another thing about the way we make these movies is we very seldom have permission from anybody anywhere.
Oh,
we just kind of show up. You know, we show up with a couple of cars, a couple of cameras. But I am a deputy, so I do wind up. I'll go find a police officer. I'll go find a deputy, and I'll say, "Hey, you're the guy." I said, "Yeah, we're going to be. You know, if anybody calls and says some kids are cutting donuts over in the dirt road over there, it's me. Just kind of slow down or just look the other way altogether." And most of the time, it's fine. So it's really great to be bringing this kind of movie back, and because of the way we film it, people are saying, the 9 people who've seen it are saying that it has an immediacy about it, it has an energy about it that really makes it seem as if the whole thing happened in I think it's 93 minutes, the 93 minutes it takes to watch it. And that's important too. You know, movies, I was taught a long time ago that it's better if a movie ends 5 minutes too soon rather than 5 minutes too late. Right? So it's kind of like being on stage. It's best to leave one song too early than one song too late. And hopefully what this is going to do is this is going to make it so when the movie is over, people will just, they'll be like, what? I can't wait for Double or Nothing, which will mean we'll have a bigger audience even for that.
That's good. Now, John, I always want to make sure and let our listeners and our viewers as well know where to find all the information about this one, about Stand On It, about everything you've got going on. You can get the music and everything all in one place.
Yeah. Well, the easiest thing to do, if you're into ease, then go to the App Store and get my app. It's called John Schneider. Plain and simple. There are buttons on there that'll take you to Cineflix to watch the movies. It'll take you to John Schneider Studios, the studio store here. It'll take you to the music. It'll take you to the dirt track schedule. We also show this movie at drive-in movie theaters. So anything you could possibly want to know is included in the app. And there's also a little scratch off section. You can do it only once every 4 hours, but you can scratch off and maybe win a t-shirt or maybe win tickets to a drive-in if you're near where we're showing the movie. So that's the easiest way to do it. If you don't want another app on your phone, or if you just don't like apps, excuse me, you can go to johnschneiderstudios.com, and that's where you can buy the DVD of any of these movies we're talking about. But really, the app is the easiest way, and it's fun. I have it on my phone. It's how I know where to show up for my next concert.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, John, it is always great to visit with you, sir. Like you know, I've been a fan of yours for the 40 years that I've known of you, and
thank you.
To develop the relationship that we have the last few years, it's been awesome. I appreciate you always giving us time, and look forward to our next visit, brother.
Me too. You take care. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Have a Merry Christmas. Folks, get a hold of Poker Run. We are independent. I do appreciate each and every purchase. It comes to us so we can make the next one. Doesn't go to somebody in Hollywood that you and I both disagree with. It comes right here, and we put it right to work. Because like we said, if you ain't all in, you're out, right? Thank you, my friend. Couldn't have said
it better myself. Good to see you, brother.
Good seeing you. You take care, and here's to the future.